Car just rolled up on the right-hand side and just started shooting holes in the door.
Lil Cease has finally stepped forward and admitted he was wrong about Lil Kim. If you know their history, you understand how significant this is. For years, Kim was painted as the villain after Biggie's death. Many made it seem like she was disloyal, that she had changed, or that she wasn't truly there for him. But in reality, she was likely one of the few who genuinely stood by him even after his passing. Meanwhile, Cease and the rest of Junior Mafia contributed to the narrative. That portrayed Kim as bitter and fake. The media amplified it, fans believed it, and over time, Kim was pushed out of Biggie's story in many ways. Now, Cease is finally setting the record straight. He confessed to playing a role in how Kim was misrepresented and acknowledged that she deserves more recognition for her loyalty to Biggie both during his life and after his death. So let's break down what Lil Cease said, why it's significant, and how Kim helped keep Biggie's legacy alive even when others abandoned her. "That's my sister for life," Cease said. "Even though we had a falling out, the love remained, on both sides." To truly grasp why Cease's apology matters, you need to understand how serious their fallout was. After Biggie's death in 1997, things quickly became complicated. Junior Mafia, the group Biggie had formed, including both Kim and Cease, started to crumble. People took sides, money ran low, and egos got in the way. The real rift came years later, around 2005, when Lil Kim faced federal charges. She was convicted of perjury for lying to a grand jury about a 2001 shooting outside Hot 97 Studios in Manhattan that involved members of her crew.
Kim was found guilty of lying to a federal grand jury during the investigation of a shooting outside a New York radio station. Prosecutors say she made up most of her eyewitness testimony about a 2001 fight outside Hot 97. The shooting broke when Lil Kim's entourage crossed paths with a rival rap group, injuring one man. Lil Kim now faces up to 20
Kim was eventually
years.
sentenced to 1 year in prison, followed by 30 days of home detention after her release and 3 years of probation. She served her time at the Federal Detention Center in Center City, Philadelphia, and was released on July 3, 2006. Now, this is where Lil Cease's role becomes crucial. He had testified against Lil Kim during her trial. Although he later claimed he didn't technically snitch, the media portrayed it as something much bigger. Cease insisted it wasn't really a big deal. Just being on the stand made it look bad. Cease also argued that he wasn't the reason Kim got sentenced, stating there was nothing he could have said that would have prevented her imprisonment. "She wasn't in a situation where my testimony would have changed anything," he said. He suggested that perhaps people around her made it seem worse, or Kim herself felt betrayed because of the difficult circumstances. According to him, she could have handled things differently, but ultimately, it wasn't his words or anyone from Junior Mafia that led to her sentence. Even if no one said anything, she likely still would have faced prison for lying. Under oath, Cease said, but from Kim's perspective, Cease testifying was more than just disloyalty. It was a betrayal of Biggie's legacy, especially after all they had been through together. Cease maintained that he was simply telling the truth. However, in hip-hop culture, particularly during that time, taking the stand was viewed as crossing an unspoken line. It's a move you can't easily come back from. Afterward, Kim completely cut ties with Junior Mafia and made it clear she had no respect for Cease. For years, there was complete silence between them. Cease would attempt to explain himself in interviews, but Kim wasn't interested. From her point of view, he had sold her out, plain and simple. The media often sided with Cease, portraying Kim as angry, unforgiving, and difficult even, though she was the one who served time. Meanwhile, Cease continued moving forward, painting himself as someone who simply told the truth, even though his testimony directly contributed to Kim's conviction. This conflict wasn't just personal. It was about loyalty, legacy, and the way Black women, especially, are often thrown under the bus to protect others' reputations. Fast forward to 2019, things finally started to change. Kim hosted her annual tribute dinner for Biggie's birthday, bringing together many of Big's closest people, including former Junior Mafia members. That night, Lil Cease stood up and publicly apologized to Lil Kim, telling her,
"It made you feel bad. I genuinely apologize. I love you from the bottom of my heart. You like one of my, you are my sister. You're not a real sister, but you my sister.
God is good.
For life. And I love you and I thank you for bringing this energy here. Right?
God is good.
And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. For real.
Yes, God is good. He's a leader.
It's in the spirit. You know, and
Kim later spoke to Vibe magazine about this powerful moment, saying it couldn't have happened on a more meaningful night. She shared, "It had been a long time since we'd come together on his birthday or done any event together. For me, it was a spiritual awakening. This was his heart. So, in a way, it was like healing Big's broken heart. We were all parts of Big head to toe. Bringing him back together meant bringing all of us back together." Fast forward to Lil Cease's recent interview on Vlad TV, where he got emotional reflecting on how he hadn't been a good brother to Kim. He also recalled how, after Biggie's death, Kim let him live at her place when he was struggling. That detail hit home for many, reminding everyone that despite all the
you know, just how it feel to finally put that behind you, because y'all is, like you said, it might not be your blood sister, but that's your sister.
I knew her before I knew Big. You know what I'm saying? I knew Kim before I knew Big. That's why the situation was so, that's why it lasted so long, because it was so personal. It's not about nothing with court shit, none of that shit. We're not going to even address that, but it's nothing to do with that. My apology was I wasn't a good brother to her. I made some wrong moves, some bad mistakes, and that was just the perfect time to do that. You know, I didn't plan that. We was all having a great time, and and I just know the comfort she needed because I know her. And I wanted to do that. I wanted to let her know that. I wanted to let all the people around know that. You know what I'm saying? And I just felt like that's what I wanted to do, and she deserved that. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times, when Big died, she held me down. And I wasn't acknowledging that the way I was supposed to. And then we had other little situations that kind of separated us, and other people that separated us, and we was too stubborn. People just let us on. And, and we just let God work. And God worked, and one day she hit me, and we talked like nothing ever happened. And she had a plan that she wanted to do this dinner. She said she wanted to put Big Heart back together. And putting his heart back together was getting all his peoples together. And we all got together, me, her, the whole Junior Mafia, D-Rock, and C Gutter. He was locked up for 16 years, so he was home to be there for that. Rube, just our whole team, like everybody that we started with was at that dinner. So I felt like that was the appropriate time to do it, and I needed to do that for her, and I wanted to do it for her. You know what I'm saying? I just felt like that was a great time, and that's my sis for life. Just because we had a little falling out, the love was still there on both sides.
Lil Cease's apology ended up shifting the narrative for many fans. People began to realize that maybe they had been too quick to judge Lil Kim, and perhaps her side of the story hadn't been fully heard. Now let's focus on how Lil Kim truly kept Biggie's name alive, even when it seemed like the world was trying to erase her. From the very beginning, Kim never stopped honoring Biggie. If you listen to her albums, she constantly mentions him, shouts him out, and dedicates songs. In his memory, on her second album, The Notorious K.I.M., Kim delivers a heartfelt tribute to Biggie on the track Hold On with Mary J. Blige. In the song, Kim compares the pain of losing Biggie to the pain of childbirth, expressing deep grief. And if you've seen the footage of Kim at Biggie's funeral, you know her emotions were genuine. On Hold On, Kim also takes a moment to call out some of Biggie's industry friends who were profiting off his death, and fans could easily guess who she was referring to. Over the years, Kim has continued to honor Biggie's legacy through countless tribute performances, headlining memorial events on the anniversary of his death, and finding every possible way to keep his memory alive.
Well, happy 50th. Happy Biggie 50th. One thing about Lil Kim, she gonna ride for some B.I.G.
That's right.
And I'm so happy to see everybody here. I mean, the whole family. Tiana, CJ, you guys are my heart.
In 2016, Kim released a track called I Did It for Brooklyn with Mayo, a full tribute to Biggie and the borough that made him. She's also been the one organizing the B.I.G. family dinners, bringing people together to honor Biggie, even inviting those she had past conflicts with. You rarely see male rappers willing to set their egos aside like that. But here's the thing, even after doing all of this, Kim has been misjudged for years. After Biggie's death, many people either erased her from his story or tried to minimize her importance. Let's not forget Lil Kim knew Biggie before the fame. Back when he was simply Christopher, he brought Kim with him from Brooklyn, which speaks volumes about how much she meant to him. People used to say Biggie wrote all of Kim's lyrics, as if she couldn't stand on her own. Yes, he helped her in the early days, but anyone who's listened to her verses knows Kim's pen is strong. She helped pave the way for the entire female rap game. Without Kim, there'd be no Nicki, no Cardi, no Megan, period. Yet, despite her influence, the media kept disrespecting her. When Notorious, the Biggie biopic, was released in 2009, Kim was outraged because they portrayed her completely wrong, reducing her role to side chick drama. In reality, she was one of Biggie's closest creative and personal confidants. Kim also found herself caught in label politics. Take the moniker track Anything to Find You. Kim recorded a verse for it, but at the last minute, her verse was pulled due to clearance issues with Biggie's estate, which was being managed at the time by Biggie's mother, Voletta Wallace. Monica later addressed the situation on social media, revealing that it was Biggie's mom who blocked Kim's appearance on the track. Monica wrote, "I'm just now finding out what happened to my single, Missy and I are beyond hurt that Lil Kim was removed. She's our friend, a legend, and Lil Kim deserves respect at all costs. The clearance was revoked, and I'm fighting to get it reinstated by Biggie's estate." Later, Monica followed up with another post saying, "I'm as thorough as they come, and I love Lil Kim." But at the end of the day, Miss Wallace had the final say, and she said no. Releasing the song with Kim's verse would have resulted in legal action. Even after all of that, when Voletta Wallace passed away last February, Kim was right there at the funeral. Once again, she showed her ability to rise above the drama and take the high road. Let's be honest, a lot of the hate Kim received was rooted in pure misogyny. She was painted as disloyal, crazy, and fake. But the truth is, she was one of the very few who stood by Biggie through everything. Despite efforts to erase her, Kim remained present in her music, her actions, and her loyalty. She didn't just keep Biggie's name alive. She protected his legacy. Now, finally, people are beginning to recognize that Lil Cease's apology wasn't just about ending old beef. It was about finally giving Lil Kim the credit she's deserved all along. But now I want to hear from you. Do you think Lil Kim was unfairly judged over the years? And how do you feel about the way she held it down for Biggie? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and I'll catch you in the next video.